Hey, Thomas, we are diving into the headlines today. A popular financial guru proposes an 8% withdrawal rule. Is that realistic? So, recently, this well known financial expert dismissed the common advice to withdraw only 4% of your retirement savings annually as, quote, moronic, instead advocating for an 8% withdrawal rate. He argues this rate can be sustained without eroding principal balance. So the financial world, of course, exploded upon hearing this advice. What do you think?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of controversy around that number. The number has been lower. Some have projected it higher. I think 8% is a stretch, depending on the asset values and then also longevity. How long is the client expected to live? And then what are the current living needs of that client? So the information that I was able to obtain regarding this, this assessment, if you will, was projecting that portfolios perform around between 10 to 11% annually, which can be that can be an aggressive. You can take on a lot of risk to get that type of number. So depending on where the client is, if they and also the risk tolerance, the longevity needs, income needs, I don't necessarily agree with that.
hmm So, this expert also recommended that retirees invest all their assets in equities. Wouldn't that expose retirees to a lot of risk and market
Absolutely.
volatility?
Absolutely. As you get, advanced in age, the last thing you want to do is, risk losing 20 to 30% of your portfolio for, a 5 to 10% gain. So all in equities, I think that's kind of foolhardy, if you will. I wouldn't necessarily, in my practice, I would definitely pull back, because you don't want to put your client at that much risk. 100% in equities. Wow.
hmm So, when could an 8% withdrawal rate be sustainable?
It depends, right? It depends. Say if your client is living, they have a projected life, longevity for 10 years. They have maybe a million bucks saved, and they need 80 grand a year, or, they can look at it like that. But it really depends on the assets, how much assets are in the account, what are the income needs for that client, and then also, how long are they projected to live? Everybody's different. Some people may have a lower, I mean, the average retiree retires with, roughly $230,000 in an account. That's not going to last you 30 years at 8%. Sorry.
hmm hmm So, as we mentioned, the general rule of thumb is a 4% withdrawal rate, but even that number is under debate. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. As I stated before, 4%, because it may not be enough. When you're thinking about, your retirement needs, when you go into retirement, and most people are retiring with less than, $250,000. 4% is not going to be a lot, for you to pull out of that account. So you may need to increase it. You obviously may need to, supplement it with something else, but that's why that number is debatable as well, because income.
So then, what percentage do you recommend to clients? How do they find that number, and then how often do they revisit that number?
So really depends, right? I look at my clients' portfolios. I see what type of assets they have, and then I say, okay, we need to get this specific return or in this area of return on an annual basis, which will allow us to pull this percentage down, and then we'll revisit that on an annual basis. How did we perform last year? What does your assets look like? Is the market down? Because that can accelerate your portfolio values down as well. So that's something that we would do on an annual basis for sure.
Great. All right. This was an interesting one, Thomas. If somebody has questions about finding their own withdrawal rate, how can they reach you?
Yeah, definitely give me, well, go to my website, martinheritagegroupllc.com. You can also shoot me an email at info@martinheritagegroupllc.com. You can give me a phone call at 651-503-6064. And then I'm on all social media platforms at Martin Heritage Group.
Okay, Thomas, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.